Hello, hello. I am Coach Jay, an intrapersonal relationship coach, because I always believe that the relationship we have with ourselves sets the tone and standard for all other relationships around us. I always start my class with a corny dad joke, so today's is this. When I was young, I was poor, but after years of struggle, I'm no longer young. Ba-dum-bum. Two deep breaths, two deep healing breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. I was just listening to a podcast, I believe, or something yesterday on intentional breathing. And it's amazing what our breath does. Our breath actually can, if we breathe in a certain way, our breath can tell our heart we're stressed and under pressure, and our heart beats a little differently. It's really amazing. So breathing definitely is a great technique. I've given classes on self-care in the past, multiple actually. So I'd like to expand on them a little bit more and share with you a few ways that you can put yourself first. Because knowing what you need for self-care is one thing, applying it is a different story. So I want to kind of mix the two in this class. So I'm going to jump right in and say, number one, learn how to dress for your body shape. Do you often feel like nothing in your closet looks right on you? Everything you wear seems to confirm the nasty thoughts you have about yourself. Stop punishing yourself for having the body that you have, and instead start dressing in ways that play up your strengths. And you can do this in various ways. There's all kinds of YouTube videos that tell you about, if you have bigger hips, these are some of the nice clothes to wear. And if you have a, slimmer bottom or a slimmer top or whatever, these are the clothes that would best, accentuate the strengths that your body has. Number two, make room. And that means literally, clutter hogs more than just physical space around you. It actually invades your mental space and erodes your sense of well-being. How can you feel better about yourself when you're surrounded by piles and piles of lifeless things? Give your body and soul the space they need to rest, nourish, and grow. What greater self-love is that? I know for me, like if I get up in the morning and my kitchen table's, got stuff on it and I have to, walk all over things on the floor because the kids left their toys out, it really does put me in a completely different mood as opposed to when I get up and the house is clean and nothing's cluttered. It really does change your mental mood. Three, say no for a change. Here's a self-love technique that's going to make the people pleaser in you nervous if you're a people pleaser. Just straight up say no. Remember, no is not a nasty word. And a lot of times saying no is not only a good idea, but it's necessary for the preservation of your own health and safety and sanity. So don't be afraid to say it politely, but firmly, especially in the following situations when you're being asked to do something that you don't have to do and you secretly don't want to do. When your energy and resources are already stretched too far, or when you're given less than what you deserve, or you're put in an unfair disadvantage. This could be like a bunch of your friends who, never give you or offer you any gas money, ask you to take them to the beach. If someone really cares about you, they won't judge you. Don't give a second thought to those who turn their backs on you just because you exercise your right to say no. They're not worth wasting your mental energy. I oftentimes say, even if you're not comfortable with the word no, think about some other ways that you can let somebody down firmly but kindly if you're not comfortable with no, such as, that sounds good, but I don't think I have the time to do that today. Or, you know what, thank you, let me sit and pray on that, or let me think about that, let me marinate with that thought and get back to you. Or that just doesn't work for me. So you don't have to necessarily say no if you're not comfortable with that word, but find some statements, some phrases, some sentences that you're comfortable with that convey the same meaning. Number four, smile in the mirror. We all smile when we feel good, but here's the plot twist. The act of smiling can also make us feel good, even when we're not in the best of mood. So look at yourself in the mirror. Try doing a frown first. Rest your face for a few seconds and then smile. You'll feel instantly more confident, energetic, and uplifted. Don't believe me? Give it a try after this class. There's actually nerves and neurons that when we smile send messages to our brain that all is good in the hood. So sometimes I say fake it till you make it with a smile. If you really want to put yourself in, if you're in a bad mood and you want to put yourself even in a neutral mood, smile. And if you're in a neutral mood, you want to put yourself in a good mood, smile. All right, number 5, if possible, turn off your phone for 24 hours. Now, we're often so enthralled by this digital rectangle that we hold that the world projects in front of us that we forget to look inward and appreciate the world we have within ourselves and its beauty. So I challenge you to turn your phone off for 24 hours. Pick a day when you're not expected to be anywhere or do anything and just disappear digitally for 24 hours. You'll find that when you're not constantly texting, answering emails, scrolling through social media feed, and listening to your constant notifications. I mean, people that have notifications on, their phone is ringing or dinging periodically through the day, and that completely disrupts what you're doing. And oftentimes, once the phone dings and you see who it is, the next thing you know is, let me see what's going on in Instagram and Facebook and all this other stuff. You'll find that you'll have plenty of time to reflect on life's journey, engage in a hobby that makes you feel fulfilled, and just let your soul stretch out and truly relax. I always tell my kids, you know, you're holding the remote control, but you're remotely, your brain is being controlled. Like, you know, technology, we were never ever, our bodies are not designed to be on technology all the time. It's just not. We're geared towards hunting and gathering and social connection. This is why I say all the time, especially during COVID, I think depression rose by, I don't know, like 90%. It was because so many people were not getting that connection that they needed from a, you know, person perspective. They were looking at Facebook. And then, of course, when you look at Facebook and social media, then you start to even subconsciously start comparing yourself. Oh, look at her shape. Look at their dinner. Look at that family's vacation. And then we start to feel like crap ourselves. So anyways, to end this, it's probably a good idea to tell your friends and family about your plan ahead of time so they don't call the police or report you missing if you don't pick up your phone. And if you can't do 24 hours, do 12. And if you can't do 12, do 6. And if you can't do 6, do 3. Anywhere is a good start. Number 6, and this is important, write down your accomplishments, no matter how small. Do you have a tendency to dwell on the past mistakes or criticize yourself over the things that you can't do? One of the best ways to combat this habit is to write down your accomplishments regularly, no matter how small they are. You could start daily, weekly, or monthly with a journal where you list things that you've accomplished. For example, you took a 15-minute walk 3 times this week, or you received praise from a client at work. Once you start writing them down, you'll be surprised how many little and big accomplishments you have to be proud of. You know, I say keeping a gratitude journal is important. Keeping an accomplishment journal is important because throughout the days and the weeks, we kind of forget certain things. Well, we do. I mean, I can't tell you what I had for dinner 3 days ago. So if you go back to your journal, you can say, oh, yeah, I did do that. Oh, yeah, I was grateful for that. And it just really kind of puts you in a whole different mood and perspective. Number 7, do something nice for yourself once a week. You probably spend a lot of time doing nice things for other people, but when was the last time you did something nice for yourself and intentionally? Whether it's sleeping in, making your favorite meal, or treating yourself to a professional massage, make it a ritual to do something nice just for yourself once a week. And this could be something that's expensive, something that's absolutely free, something that's physical. I encourage people to get to know their love language. And once you know your love language, do something to feed your love language. If it's physical touch, give yourself a massage for 5 minutes. I mean, you know, basically just rub your arms, whatever. If it's words of affirmation, write down some words that are inspiring and encouraging and supportive. So whatever your love language is, give that to yourself. Number 8, and this is one of my personal favorites, maybe it's because I have small kids, enjoy alone time. Do you feel sad or bored when you're by yourself? Alone time doesn't have to feel lonely. On the contrary, alone time can be fun and deeply fulfilling. And when you've learned to enjoy spending time, not just by yourself, but with yourself, you'll discover there's more self-love too. Um, again, going back to the COVID thing, I think so many people were so busy spending. I mean, I read a study. They said during COVID, the average teen spent over 9 hours a day on social media, which is crazy, ludicrous, scary. And that we often need to spend alone time, because far more than human beings, we're human evolvements. We're constantly growing, we're constantly evolving. We have to constantly get to know that new person we are. And if we're constantly in social media, we're never reflecting on that new person. So spending alone time to get to know who you are continually is vital to your happiness, your emotional health, what have you. Number 9, get your heart rate up. Exercise is a surefire way to make sure that you feel better about yourself. Various studies have confirmed the positive effects that exercise has on not just our physical, but our mental health. But if you're like me and you dread the idea of running on a treadmill, remember that there are many ways to get your heart rate up and have lots of fun at the same time, such as dancing or, house cleaning. I actually set my phone every 3 hours to a notification. I shut off all my notifications on all my social media apps. I don't want to know anything on my social media apps, but I do have a couple alarms on my phone. And one of them is, it goes off every 3 hours, and I get up and I have to do 5 things: 5 push-ups, 5 jumping jacks, 5 toe touches, 5 arm circles. It doesn't matter. It's just to kind of get my blood flowing. And I actually feel good when I sit down. Number 10, challenge negative thoughts you have about yourself, such as you can't, or you're never going to reach your goals, or you're always making stupid mistakes, or how could you not notice this, or how could you not be aware of that. These are not things that you would ever say to somebody that you care about and love. So why do you say these mean things to yourself when you're supposed to exercise and practice self-love? The next time you catch yourself thinking negative thoughts about yourself, ask yourself this: are these thoughts really logical? What triggers these thoughts, and what can I do to prevent them? If I had to come up with a rebuttal for these thoughts, what would I say? So you can pretend you're your own coach. And lastly, is this thought helping me to become the new improved 2.0 version of myself? Because if not, you're just jeopardizing your own personal growth. And I always say, don't believe everything you think. When you challenge your negative thoughts often enough, you'll stop letting them take over. And that's when your self-love will truly blossom. I was doing a TikTok video the other day on what I call ants, which I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. They're automatic negative thoughts, or annoying negative thoughts, ants. And our brain kind of has a default for negativity. So we have to be proactive in fighting that. But, I'll do another class on how to do all that. 11, and I'm doing this constantly every day, is correcting my posture. So correct your posture. We've all heard that standing tall and sitting up straight makes us appear more confident, but studies show that correcting our posture does actually give us more confidence in our own thoughts. So if you want to gain more self-esteem, pull your shoulders back and hold your head up high. When you look more confident, you feel more confident and powerful as well. Number 12, stop apologizing for 48 hours. Now, I say 48 hours because it takes this long to start the process of breaking a habit. But if you can't do it, again, 12, 6, 3, whatever the case is. How many times in a day do you say the word "I'm sorry"? Or if you're out and about, "I'm sorry." Not only can over apologizing make people think less of you, but it can also decrease your own self-esteem. So I challenge you to do this at your next self-love activity. The next time you're out and about, the next time you're on the phone, the next time you're, what have you, stop apologizing the entire time. Unless, of course, you really did something wrong. If you ram into somebody at the store with your cart, sure, you can say, I apologize. So it's not something, but just not for something, trivial, like forgetting to hold the door open for the person behind you. Really challenge yourself and force yourself to not apologize. If you want to use a word instead of an apology, you can, but that's just a start. But the whole idea is to stop. People apologize for their existence. We just gotta get out of that habit. Number 13, do something that you normally wouldn't do. So step outside your comfort zone and say yes to something that you normally wouldn't do. You might discover a new side of yourself that amazes you while having a lot of fun in the process. This could be something small, could be something large. Um, maybe deep, and if you can't make that leap to do something completely different, maybe deviate from your everyday uh, daily routine. So just do something a little different. Number 14, create something. Creativity helps build self-esteem and it makes you feel like you're putting yourself first. So whether it's writing a tune, drawing a sketch, making a pottery piece, um, sketching, and writing on paper, writing a story, it could be anything at all. Create something with your hands and or your imagination. You may not always love what you come up with, but you'll learn to appreciate the artistic side and love yourself more in the process. And I'll tell you something, especially when we're going through trauma or betrayal or abuse or toxicity or neglect or abandonment, so much of us is in our logical mindset. So much of us is thinking over and over and over about our betrayal that our creative side kind of just settles, and we want to awaken that side and not let it be so dormant. Number 15, give yourself a 5-minute meditation break every day. If you can do it more, do so. We sadly live in a world where stress and chaos are the norm, but these are things that we can do to help remain us calm during the storm. And like I said, one of them is to give ourselves a meditation break, even for 5 minutes. Not only can meditation train you to become more aware of your inner self, but it also helps you learn to let go of obsessive thoughts. And of course, your obsessive thoughts after betrayal are often negative ones. And when you think negative thoughts, you put your body into a continuous circle of stress and anxiety. So for many, meditation is truly one of the best self-love activities that you can do every day, even if it's just 5 minutes. And if you don't know what to do, there's a great teacher here at PBT that does meditation and yoga. And I say a lot of times meditation is a lot of times is thinking about what you're thinking about or being cognizant of thinking about what you're thinking about. So sometimes if you're just sitting there and you're thinking about, your betrayal, check yourself. Say, okay, wait a minute. Let me think about what I'm thinking about. And I've been thinking about this a lot. So I need to now, by default, force myself to think of something positive because all that's, you ever see those parks, garbage in, garbage out? That's our mind. If all we're going to do is put in negativity, toxic, and garbage, that's what's going to come out of our mind, body, and soul. So you got to think about what you're thinking about. Number 16, accept a compliment. Next time someone pays you a compliment, instead of shying away and saying, "Oh, no, you're too kind," or, "Oh, this dress, I got it at the dollar store," whatever. Just own it. Own it. Look at the person in the eye and say, "Thank you." Simply put. And stop telling yourself in your head that the person really didn't mean it or they're just being kind. Accept the compliment fully and graciously. Someone noticed your strength and it's time for you to notice it too. Simply put. So I hope you got something out of this class. I hope that this gave you some ideas that resonated on maybe some of your weaknesses as far as saying no or not putting yourself first. Because especially after we discover a betrayal, our mind, body, and soul is working overtime to heal us. We got to give ourselves a break and we got to prioritize our healing for as long as it takes.